Yes, it's a pleasure to be with you, Julian.
Thank you. I had many great times in Nablus, and maybe another time we'll reminisce all about that. How has Nablus been doing under the lockdown and the pandemic?
Well, actually, we're experiencing a second wave right now of corona, and the city and all of the West Bank is under lockdown. It has been just extended for another 6 days, so until Saturday evening.
And who has imposed that lockdown?
The Palestinian government. So since
the PA, okay.
Yeah, so since the beginning of March, like almost many of the countries in Europe and elsewhere, we were under lockdown. So it was eased at the beginning of June, but since the beginning of July, we've been experiencing a second wave. And so we have been under lockdown for the last 2 weeks almost.
How does the lockdown compare to the curfew that the Palestinians remember that was imposed during I think both intifadas? Palestine was under complete lockdown, right?
Well, yeah, it's different because, during the Israeli imposed curfews, you had snipers on the rooftops. So if you went out of your house, you were not... you were risking being killed. So I think it's a totally different situation.
Online, during this period, some people have shared goodwill stories of Israelis helping Palestinians, giving them medical assistance during the COVID-19 pandemic. Is there any truth in that, or has it been another opportunity for the Israelis to quell any dissent from the Palestinians?
I think that the Israelis try to use any way possible to make their image seem, better, or to better their image. I haven't heard of any real assistance that has been provided. I don't think that the Israeli army or the Israeli government cares about the well-being of the Palestinians living under occupation. Even with regards to helping to impose the lockdown and so on, the Israeli army doesn't care. They don't, if Palestinians are infected or else if it doesn't have anything to do directly with them, they don't care.
And what about the situation in Gaza? Because some people thought, ironically, the fact that Gaza was sealed off from the rest of the earth, pretty much, that it might never spread to Gaza. But I believe there was cases of COVID-19 in Gaza.
Yes, because you have the border crossing with Egypt, and then there is a border crossing with Israel. And some people were, traveling through these two border controls, well, limited number of people. And so some cases actually were found in Gaza, but it's still, being under siege. The spread is a lot less than elsewhere, than the West Bank or in Israel or elsewhere.
And what in the West Bank? What about the settlements? Are you aware of any outbreaks there? They're obviously treated completely differently.
In the news, in the Israelis, of course, the Israeli news always talks about the spread of coronavirus in the Israeli communities, including the settlements. So there were some settlements, even around Nablus, that had a large number of cases.
And presumably, people living in settlements will have much better access to healthcare than Palestinians living in refugee camps and the towns and villages in the West Bank.
The system is very advanced. It's similar to the one you have in the UK or else in Europe. So, and of course, it's only for Israelis. So Palestinians are not allowed to be treated or to go through this service. So, yeah, of course, they have a much better health service.
And what about Palestinians living in East Jerusalem? What has been their situation in all this, and what access do they have to hospitals and medical treatment?
Well, they have some access to some Israeli health services, but not like as an Israeli service. And at the same time, the Palestinian Authority is not allowed to provide services to the Israeli, the Palestinian community in East Jerusalem, and so the some Palestinians living in East Jerusalem live in communities that are in a kind of a zone that is not really access, like doesn't have services from the Israelis, and at the same time, the Palestinian Authority is not allowed to enter these areas because they are considered as Israeli total control, like zone C. For example, Kufr Aqab area, which has tens of thousands of Palestinians who have what we call Jerusalem ID, which means that they are residents of Jerusalem, but at the same time they live in the outside of Jerusalem, so near Ramallah. And this area has had a lot of cases and a lack of treatment and health services.